going on right now. Trapaholics.
Remember when we used to be called the Pornoholics?
Yeah,
Terrible fucking name.
terrible name. But now we're here, man.
You imagine? I told people at work about that podcast.
Pornoholics?
Dude,
What did they say?
I told the CEO of my fucking company about that shit.
What did he say?
He liked it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that guy. Let's have a beer with him sometime.
I don't know.
We're here, man. We got somewhat clear skin, more Hector than me. You know, we're feeling 10 hot. You know what I'm saying? We wake up every morning with that 8 hours of sleep and we'll feel 10 hot.
I can give you a skincare regimen if you want, like a quick one. Nothing like literally 3 products. That's it.
Listen, as a straight man that's been to prison, when someone tells me I can give you a skincare, what did you say right now?
Regimen.
Regimen?
Yeah.
You know what the first thing that comes to my mind?
What's up?
What do you think?
No.
Huh?
No.
Busting nuts on a dude's face. Little facial, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
disgusting.
Little facial.
Listen, man, you don't want to look like you're 60 when you're 40.
No, I know, but dude, let's be honest here. I'll be dead.
When, at 40?
55.
Well, that's still 15 years of prime life you want to like enjoy.
I mean, dude, listen, if a girl wants me for my skin, man, we're in the wrong boat. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no one's saying about your skin, but you don't want to look old. What makes people look old?
Genetics.
How they fucking look makes them look old.
All right. You give me your fucking regimen.
Literally 3 things. Just clean your skin, moisturize, sunscreen. That's it.
You got to write this down. I
Sure.
need product lists.
Sure. Give you
I
that.
need reviews.
I'll give you cheap and expensive. 2 options. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
That's it.
Have you ever thought about doing a vampire facial?
100% not.
Never?
No, man. Fuck that.
Bro, listen. You take $400.
Yeah.
You go to Turkey with me. We'll
Christ.
get you a little vampire facial. They take blood, put it in a centrifuge, take the plasma out, and inject your face. Any kind of wrinkles you've ever had in your life, any kind of beauty marks, any kind of fucking rubbish, whatever the fuck.
I know they do that for hair.
It doesn't work that well for hair.
I've heard differently from one of your brothers, actually.
Okay, fine. Those guys lie a lot, though.
No, like here. He's
No,
here.
I know. They
He's
lie a
like
lot,
he's
too.
like a legit dude.
Okay, fine. He's legit. But what I'm saying is, you
We'll-
want
we'll
hair?
see.
You want hair? Hair transplant.
No, fair enough. But like they offered it to like my mom. My mom's doing it actually.
Your mom's gonna do it.
No, she's already. She's on her second
And
set.
What did she say?
So far, you still gotta wait. It's only been like a couple of months.
Mm.
So we'll see. I don't. It's not obviously the idea is not that it's gonna be as good as a transplant,
Yeah.
but it's like, can you get? It's like the same shit when we're talking about like with gyno, like surgery or SERMs. Although with that it's a bit better. Like it's closer. Like you can get pretty close with SERMs.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like, can you get somewhat close to what you could with a transplant just on this like plasma treatment or anything? So we'll see.
Okay. Let's talk about something real quick and then call her bud.
Oh yeah, that's true.
One thing I want to say is check out this fucking Lakers show, bro.
Oh yeah, our sports segment. I
Holy
haven't done that in a while.
Fuck. I just want to go over this real quick.
Dude, just the NBA in general, man. The trade deadline that we just went through was fucking insane. You had a lot of big guys
Lots.
moving to different places. You got
Lots.
just on the Lakers that you brought up. You got Carmelo.
Yeah.
You got Dwight Howard coming back, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Woo.
You know, more than half of their team is new.
Yeah.
You know who their oldest player is, like longest playing currently right now?
Carmelo.
No, I mean like longest playing at the Lakers.
Not off the top of my head, no.
LeBron. LeBron is now
Damn.
their veteran, like
Vet player.
longest tenured player.
Damn, bro. That says
3
something.
seasons.
That says
That's
something.
it. 3 seasons.
Damn, son.
That's crazy.
Damn, son. You think they're gonna win, or what's the?
This is. I actually watched. I think I've brought up the guy before. His name is Jimmy High Roller.
Yeah.
He does like these kind of videos.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
he did one on this, and he's
Yeah.
like, every time this has happened, where a team's like a super team has been assembled, in their first season, they either bust or they win, or they get to the finals.
No shit, dude.
There's no in betweens.
Well, how can there be an in between anyway?
Well, because sometimes it's just like mediocre kind of shit, but it's either like really good or actually like very very
Those
bad.
are the only 2 choices. If you see what I'm saying.
No, man, why?
Well, you either
'Cause
bust
you could
or
be-
fail, right? The
no,
only-
no. I mean, like, because you could be good. Like,
Yeah.
let's say first. It's not even like, oh, they did pretty well and then they went first round. It's like, no, either they went to the fucking finals
Yeah.
or they literally just like tanked.
So would you say Brooklyn tanked or
That one's 50-50 because they had all their fucking injuries and shit. I think
Okay.
they actually did very well.
Okay, so I disagree with you, but it's because I look at life different. So to me, if you are bringing in a salary capped team and you don't make it to the finals, you've had a bust.
No, that's
my opinion.
but that's just so simplistic.
No, but this is why.
Because when I mean bust, because if that's what a bust is,
Mhm.
then it doesn't even matter if you made it to the first round or if you won 20 games in the season. Is what you're telling me?
But
it does.
It does. But
'Cause
what
that-
I'm saying is, failure, regardless of the fact of where you fall, you are second place. Second place is not first.
Yeah, fine,
You
but
lose.
let's not be a meathead about this. Let's actually look at this. We like sports. Let's
Yeah,
fucking look at this more
yeah.
objectively. The guy actually found that it's 50-50. So the last time the Lakers did this was in 2012, 13, 14, forget the year, with Steve Nash. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
They got Steve Nash, Dwight Howard. They were hyped at the time. They were Vegas odds second to win the whole thing. And we know. Do you remember how that shit turned out?
Didn't
Steve Nash blood his knee.
yeah, he
Dwight
didn't
Howard
play.
fucking. They
Yeah.
actually busted. Like they didn't
Yeah.
even make the playoffs
Yeah,
with Bryant, with Kobe, R.I.P.
yeah. Rest.
So
in
that was a
peace.
terrible. That was an actual bust.
That was an actual bust.
And then when Miami did it their first year, they lost and then they won.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics, they actually won their first year when they got like a mini super team going. So we'll see how this one goes.
We'll see how this one goes.
But
man.
they are old as fuck.
Okay.
They are on average the oldest team in the league right now.
Damn, son. Do we think they're gonna win?
No, I think it's actually gonna be a bust for them.
You think it's gonna be a bust?
I think it's a bust for them.
I think you can't have a bust like that. Do you know why?
Too old. I think too old.
Okay, fine. I just don't think you can have a bust though.
Why not?
This is why. First, you got LBJ. You can count my blessings on LBJ.
For sure.
All right. The guy, savage hairline, savage skills. Okay. Then you got Carmelo. Carmelo never really gets injured, really. Not really. And then you got Westbrook.
Westbrook's solid.
Westbrook doesn't really get injured.
No, he doesn't. He's an Iron
Okay.
Man.
So you got.
I'm pretty sure Melo's been out
okay.
like with some serious injuries though.
Yeah, but like nothing that is like
Like half
career
season out.
career threatening type of thing. Like in the past 3 seasons, he's been fairly healthy.
I guess.
It's not like an Anthony Davis, is my point.
Sure. But even Anthony Davis before the Lakers, he was actually super, super solid.
Yeah, but it's because he's so tall and ligament issues, and he's actually fairly like small boned guy for being that tall.
Do you measure his bones?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
we
fuck.
talk.
My bad.
You know,
Yeah, fair enough.
we get ugats and stuff. So anyway, I think you got 3 there that's solid.
Yeah.
And you got Dwight that's 50-50. He can be a
He's
solid.
really 50-50 because
he can be a 50-50.
he did so well 2 seasons ago with the Lakers.
Yep.
That was crazy.
And then you got fucking. I think he's gonna be good. I think Dwight's gonna be good. And then you got our boy Anthony Davis, which is I would say he's on the 30% of staying healthy and 70% of getting injured again,
Right.
which is fine. You got Marc Gasol, which is always gives you a nice defensive presence.
Yeah.
You basically have 2/16 of an Olympic team right there. Right? I mean, 10 years ago, those guys were fucking heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that being said, I think those 3 guys are just those 3 together.
Mhm.
I think they're gonna, because they play together so much,
Yeah.
they're just gonna have better chemistry than the Nets. And Giannis is not even gonna be a thing.
Wait, because who's playing so much? Who's played so much?
Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and LBJ. They've played together a lot.
Where?
USA team?
Don't count that
Why not?
because you could say the same for the Nets. Durant's played Olympic
Harden
team
hasn't
since like
played.
since like beginning of
Harden
time.
never played.
Durant's been playing
Kyrie
forever.
never.
Kyrie
played.
has,
played.
bro.
Okay, hold on.
You know
hold
that
on, hold
clip-
on, hold on,
you know
hold
what I'm talking about,
Hold
right?
on, hold on.
You know the clip I'm
Okay.
gonna bring up?
Fine.
Where he dribbles out the entire team?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was like in
Okay,
2008.
Okay, so hold on. Would you say who is more reliable, Durant or LBJ?
Reliable how? Like not injured?
Injury.
You
Yep,
have to say
LBJ.
That's
Okay,
not fair
hold
though,
on.
man. That's not
Let
fair.
me finish my point, and then
That's
you can
not
say,
fair. Because that's like one
Bro,
injury.
why are you
Durant's
arguing
had.
about this?
Because Durant's had one injury in his
Okay,
life.
fine.
That's so not fair.
How many has LBJ had?
Well, he caught the
You-
last season as one.
But he's 36.
Sure.
Okay. Now you count Harden has a lot of injuries and Kyrie has a lot of injuries. Would you say Kyrie has more injuries than Westbrook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So that takes that. Can we compare Carmelo to Harden? I'd say Harden had more injuries.
I would actually.
I would
say
say
about the same.
by far.
Not even. No.
Let's even go with what you're saying. The same.
I don't think actually Harden was out at all in the Houston Rockets.
Okay, fine. Let's just go with what you're saying. Let's say they're the same.
Sure.
Okay. We're just more sustainable. Plus, that's not even the whole fucking roster. Who do the Nets have outside those three guys? We just saw how they fell apart if they don't have two of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have an all-star fucking starting five with the Lakers.
You could say the same for the Lakers too. Like if
No,
some of these
what I'm
main
saying-
guys go, it's over.
Okay, but hold on. You have Anthony Davis.
Because that
You have
just
Carmelo-
happened with the Lakers
Okay,
actually.
but you have Carmelo Anthony.
Okay.
Okay, you have
He's
LeBron.
not carrying a team at this age.
Hold on. You have. Let's go from the beginning.
Sure.
You have Davis.
Okay.
You have Pau Gasol. We're not saying that
Mark-
these guys. Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
You have. I'm just saying that these combinations aren't anything anybody else can match up with.
What do you mean? Like how? Like start like player to player? Like what do you mean?
Skill wise, probably you could say that Dwight's, Marc Gasol, and Anthony Davis already have a presence of how LBJ plays,
Okay.
and most of them have already played with
I
Westbrook.
mean, Marc Gasol's literally played for 1 season, but sure.
and
Never played
well,
with
Marc Gasol is actually very high IQ.
No, but I mean, like Marc Gasol's never played with LBJ.
Let's not go into technicalities. What I'm saying is,
Well, because first you
can't-
brought up chemistry.
Shut
now
the
you,
fuck up
Now you
for a
bring up
second.
injuries. What are you
Holy
talking about
shit.
here?
I'm just
Stay
saying
on topic.
they are not even touchable. Because
Okay,
even
that you're just full of shit.
even if two of them go down, let's say Marc Gasol and fucking Westbrook go down. Let's say fucking Carmelo and Anthony Davis goes down. You still have three other All-Stars, is my point. Whereas no other team has that fucking luxury, is my point. Now, do I think that they're all going to stay healthy? Probably fucking not. I think first persons to go is going to be Anthony fucking Davis, and this is going to be his last season with the Lakers.
That's funny because he's actually the youngest guy in the entire
Yeah, but
of those All Stars. So that's actually very interesting.
probably
you would say
the
that.
thinnest bones in the NBA. Okay. This guy's, if you take this guy's all of his bones
Yeah.
and you add them together in weight, you probably get 11 pounds. Okay, let's be fucking honest here. Okay, this guy has
Fucking
some
bone mass
light
density
ass
over here.
bones.
What do
okay?
you think about the rest of the trades that happened in the? Get Lowry going from the
Lowry was sketchy, bro. What the fuck was that?
That was
what
kinda weird.
What did the Raptors get for that? They got some bullshit ass fucking.
Did you hear that there was actually
Yeah, they're
trade
investigating.
tampering?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
investigating
Because
about
what
that.
the fuck was that?
Yeah, they're
How do
investigating.
you just give up like your franchise player for a bunch of fucking scrubs?
Yeah, they're investigating that shit. It's sketchy, man, because it's like, what the fuck are they talking about, man? Like, what are these guys gonna do?
Yeah.
And what's gonna come from this? Gonna probably be like a fine or some shit, right?
I don't think they can renege on the deal, right?
No,
They
they
probably
can't.
just a fine then.
That's a fine.
Oh, they could get restricted the following season with trades
Yeah.
and with they could get a draft pick taken away potentially.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
yeah. Let's go ahead and call our boy, man.
Sure. Dr. Evil.
This is another fucking edition of
You don't have to
Talks with Dr. Fucking Evil.
turn that off. Yeah. You have to bump this up.
I don't know, 20 minutes.
Yo,
Yo, hello?
what's going on, Dr. Evil, man?
I thought you were going to give me a heads up call first. All right.
This guy's just scrubbing. I love it.
How's it going?
What's going on, man? We catching a bad time or what? You're huffing and puffing.
No, I'm just hanging out with family.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
We gotta keep this tight.
We gotta keep this. We'll give her a 15.
20 minutes. Yeah,
15,
that's
20
fine.
minutes.
Yeah,
we'll
I
go
was
we'll
saying
go through this
15.
fast, man. And you know what? However much you think about the things I ask you, I'm gonna ask you to think less. Okay? Just think less.
Special man over here.
Special edition. We're thinking less and we're hoping high. Okay? So
All right.
you're 28, right? You're 28, 29, maybe 35. Who knows? Dr. Evil, top 5 things, or just give me a couple things that when you were in high school, you wish you thought of. Now, I'm not going to say like, don't say shit like, oh, I wish I made up Facebook, or oh, I wish I made up like some fucking Snapchat or TikTok or some shit. But like things that just align with your life. You don't have to be specific, but it has to be more specific than like Facebook or some shit like this. If you want me to go first, I can give you some ideas.
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Hector, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Give me 5, man.
I think
Don't think too much.
more ideas on what's out there, in a sense.
What does that mean?
I think in high school we live in a vacuum. Well, you're 17,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
16, you're young. It's hard to like really have
Perspective.
like a worldview in a sense. But
Absolutely.
most of your thoughts are kind of like in front of you. Like you wake up, your friends, you talk with your friends, and you have your exams, your studies, your whatever is
Kind
going
of
on. in your
shallow-minded.
life. I wouldn't say shallow-minded, but it's almost a narrow focus in a sense because you're only really acting on what's in front of you. You don't really have much of a vision in that sense.
Okay.
At the same time, you're 17, 16. How much of a vision are you gonna ask that kid to really have? But I
Right.
think if I were to be, if I could have a choice of something that I would have been taught, it would just
Yeah.
be how to kind of expand my views in that sense and to try and like think of more than what was just right directly in front of me. Because I think that also leads into as soon as you, especially at that age, you see something, you kind of like grab onto it.
Dog, when are you going to
tightly.
tell me what you want? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the juicy part.
That is. What do you mean?
Okay, that's what.
I don't have one specific thing for
Okay,
you.
okay.
Because that means that I would have never had it.
Okay.
back then, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, let me go midway. I wish
don't give me some bullshit.
No,
man.
I'm not going to give
Okay.
you bullshit. I had a lot of fire like as far as aspirations, but I feel like if I had a way of scheduling these or kind of setting them in a way that it was the most beneficial for me. I think the best way for me, a guy like me with that much fucking fire in that age group, would be military
So discipline.
discipline. I would say hardcore discipline, like military, 4 years,
Yeah.
full patch, come out, reassess my life, go from there. I think that would have saved me a lot. That's the number one thing.
That's interesting, actually.
Number two thing, I would say travel.
Oh yeah.
I would say travel for sure.
Yeah.
And number three thing, I would say buy a house
What?
instantly, like out of high school. Out of high school,
What are
buy an
you,
apartment.
retarded?
Buy an apartment out of high
Fuck,
school.
Shut the fuck up.
Out of high school, I'd say
I
buy an
said don't give me
apartment.
some bullshit.
No,
You
no,
give me
no,
some
no, no.
bullshit.
We're not because
That's
dude,
like your Facebook stuff. Hey, you're assuming you know the market's gonna go up. You should come up with ideas that are irrelevant with how the future panned out.
no. That's your opinion though, Dr. Evil. I just firmly believe even if I bought a place in fucking Pitt Meadows or whatever the fuck at that age, at this point, I would probably own that place.
Oh, you mean?
I mean,
you,
who's
wait.
got money for a down payment?
Oh, wait,
in
are
high
you-
school
so are
for
you-
a
are-
house?
Hold on.
Are
High
you-
school. A lot of people have.
No one.
Dr. Evil. A lot of people have.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Hold
Nobody
on.
had $80,000 in the bank.
Yeah,
in
come
high
on, man. What are you
school.
talking about here?
Hold on. We're not talking about a $800,000 place or a $400,000 place. We're talking about like a $250,000 bachelor suite or a one bedroom.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm talking about.
Even then, I think
Yeah, even then, nobody
It-
had money like this.
if your idea is more of like you wish you were told to think of that right away, that makes more sense.
No,
I'll be like,
for
okay,
sure.
I buy that. Yeah,
No,
'cause, like,
but
I'll-
that's what we're talking about.
okay,
right?
that makes more sense because for a lot of people that doesn't click until later on, where they're like, for some people, it clicks very late. They're fucking 30 and like, oh fuck, I should
Now I
look
gotta
at a buy.
buy a
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then they start making that a priority in
Yeah.
their life. So okay, so you were saying make that a priority for your life way back then.
I would say
Fair
these
enough.
three
Okay,
things would be the top
Fair.
priorities in my life.
that makes more sense.
Because I don't want to go to particular and be like, oh yeah, I wish I did.
Yeah, no.
You know, thing. And number 4, I would say I kind of wish I went on social media earlier. I think that'd be one thing that I would want to do because
Interesting.
eventually, now 10 years later, we're doing it.
That's almost like a Facebook thing that you're mentioning. But yeah, fair.
Not
sure.
a Facebook thing, but what I'm saying is just like do social media as far as like a podcast scenario.
Sure. I mean, yeah, because it was around back then.
It was
It's not-
around
it's not
back
like
then.
it wasn't.
It was definitely
Right.
around 2010. I mean, that was the premium year.
Did you ever have the idea at all for yourself back then?
I
even,
did.
Even like a floating, like a fleeting thought.
Not enough that it would actually go into action, but enough where
Well, obviously you
it
didn't.
was something that I was like, this is probably untouchable
Yeah.
at that age.
Oh, it felt out of reach.
Yeah, it felt
okay.
definitely out of reach. But other than that, I felt like we could do it. Dr. Evil, does that gather some ideas for you?
No, I had some ideas before you said anything, but I felt like you go first. Kind of.
Yeah, you always do that, you fuck.
I would say Hector's not gonna like some of these. I would say drop out of high school as soon as you can. Maybe spend 5 or 6 hours a day reading. Focus on playing just one sport, competitively, ideally, if you can.
What would that sport be?
I don't really care. I mean, something that's where you're less likely to incur a bad injury.
Swimming.
So nothing where you're taking hits to the head. Yeah, you could do swimming. Swimming. No, actually, I wouldn't do swimming. Do a team sport. So if
Mm.
you're gonna drop out of high school, you're gonna miss out on the social component, which is really the only benefit I see. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to high school. In hindsight, I think it was mostly a waste of time,
Mm.
as was much of university.
Mm.
I think 95% of this could have been learned in just self-study, and then maybe 2 or 3 things to make up for the social component that you're gonna miss out on, because that's probably gonna hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can make up for that on your own.
Wait, did you say I
Join
wasn't gonna like
clubs.
this? I have like no problems with what you're saying.
I have no problems
Dropping
with
out
this.
from high school? I don't know. You and
I-
Emil always gave me shit for that.
Oh, I wouldn't do it for myself, but I mean, you want to do it, then go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
I
I would have said cut out at 14.
Yeah,
get
sure.
your-
I mean, if you feel that's
I-
get your whatever it's called, GED.
Yeah,
through,
I
just tests
oppose
later on.
I oppose Hector on this. I firmly believe that that's actually the way to go.
I oppose Hector on this. What are you fucking talking about? I'm saying it's
no,
not
no,
for me, but
no,
I'm
no,
like,
I understand.
Sure.
I think it would be for me if I had the discipline.
Sure, if you
I
think
think it'd
so.
be for anybody that had
Maybe
the discipline.
military too, actually. Depending on the
I
situation.
firmly
Do
believe this.
But yeah, but how's that opposing me? I'm like, I'm saying I have no problems with
No, no,
like,
no. I'm not saying you're. Maybe I use the wrong word.
Yeah,
but
maybe
what
you
I'm
did, 'cause
saying
I'm
is
like,
this:
what the fuck?
you might not use it because for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
But
wouldn't.
I would definitely use it if I had the discipline.
Oh sure.
Because I've met people of recent, like last 3 weeks, that just for com sake,
Yeah.
they don't have bachelors,
Sure.
and they've literally learned everything on their own. Whether that be because whatever genetic variety or discipline that they've had that made them that way, but it just seems like you would get further as far as learning if you had the finances to possibly get a tutor or have the discipline to actually study. It would be huge. Continue,
Yeah.
Dr. Evil.
What?
Continue.
Yeah, I mean 3 or 4 things. So, drop out as early as you can. Focus on reading as a hobby that you dedicate a serious amount of time every day to. Do some kind of physical activity at a competitive level, and then join some clubs. I don't know. You fucking learn how to dance, learn how to cook, whatever. Whatever suits the person. For me, I don't know what it would be. I'd have to put in more thought. I'm thinking about this on the fly.
I think we're all thinking about it on the fly.
Well, this sounds very similar to like.
I mean, we've
a
talked
be- a
about
best-
this before.
a
and I
best
said
case
more or less the
scenario-
same thing.
A best case scenario of like homeschooled.
I would also say move
Yeah.
out as soon as possible.
Move out as soon as possible. Definitely
Because
agree
like
with that.
homeschooling is normally seen as like weird.
Yeah.
You're like, ugh, homeschool. I know a few people who've been homeschooled. One of them actually turned out to be completely normal. He's actually doing very well for
I
himself. and all
think
that.
I read somewhere it's like 1 out of 9 people turn out pretty good in
that
homeschool.
that homeschool.
Yeah.
yeah. See that it's just had a weird connotation because
Yeah.
with homeschooling, it's similar to what Dr. Evil's mentioning, but different because Dr. Evil's want it be all self-driven. With homeschooling, it's you're just no longer going to a state-operated school, but you are still being schooled by your parents or some
Right.
other substitute.
Right. Speaking of parents, let's switch topics because I know Dr. Evil's a busy man.
Busy.
One
Not
thing.
really, but okay.
Hey, listen. When I say shit, just shut the fuck up. Accept it.
Motherfucker.
So, speaking of parents, okay, at what age did you guys? Now we don't have to badmouth our parents, but at what age did you realize that your parents aren't perfect? Whether that be they're lying or they're bullshitting or their ideas of life isn't what you think is the premium for you or whatever that might be. At what age did you realize that they're imperfect and you wouldn't really follow their ways? If that makes any sense to you.
I think for myself that was very early.
What are we talking here?
Like I was still in school, like elementary school.
Okay.
But that didn't mean that I didn't listen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
Right?
perfect sense.
So like there were some kids that I know would basically follow their parents' word like gospel. Where it's like if their dad said that, the sky's green, oh, the sky's definitely green. There's no way it's not kind of thing, right?
Right.
I think for myself because and you actually kind of brought this up earlier when I just got in before we started recording, but
Yeah.
I am an only child.
Right.
Everybody who knows me obviously knows that, but for the viewers, obviously that'd be a new piece of information. I've never actually said that.
Wow.
But I am an only child. I don't have any siblings,
Don't indulge us too much.
and I think shut the fuck up. Got to talk for our one viewer that's streaming watching this shit live.
Hey, shout out to you.
Being an only child has an interesting dynamic at home in the sense that you don't have a like-minded social companion with you,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like a sibling or a cousin or whatever. Like you just don't have anyone around that's
Right.
basically your age that's coming up at the same time that you are.
Right.
Your only two sources of social communication at home are literally your parents.
Right.
Like there is nothing else. So
Mhm.
if you want to like shoot the shit, you're shooting the shit with your parents.
Right.
If you want to play, you're playing with your parents. If you want basically anything, it's with your parents.
Absolutely.
So that goes along with other things too, like conversations,
Mhm.
watching things, like everything,
Mhm.
right? And so what that I've noticed over time, what that did for me was that I started to feel like I was not on the same level,
Mm-hmm.
but
Peter.
at times, yeah, at times,
Mhm.
to the point where I remember I would start like unknowingly like disrespecting my mom because I was talking to her like a friend. You know what I mean? I was
Mhm.
talking to her like a friend or
Right.
like a sister.
You got too comfortable.
Exactly. And my
Mhm.
dad's like, all right, that's when he would like
Take it
correct
easy,
me because
yeah.
he's like, okay, like
Put you in your
listen,
place.
exactly. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, okay, listen,
Shut the fuck up, yeah.
understood, but like she's not obviously she's
Little
fucking-
Hector, shut the
she's your
fuck
mom,
up.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think doing like having those moments
Mm-hmm.
actually led me to, in a way, I don't want to say like open my eyes, but
Mhm.
kind of have that what you just described, where it's
Right.
like I realized that not everything that my parents were was like I kind of took them off of a pedestal in that sense.
Right.
I still respected them as my parents, just
Mhm.
like I still do, and I still love them.
Mhm.
But I took them off that pedestal that I
Right.
used to put them on when I was much younger.
Okay, that makes sense, man. That makes perfect sense. Doctor Evil, you wanna chip in, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
if I have much to add on this question.
Okay, I'll go first. I don't want to trump you,
Mhm.
but I just had like a terrible father figure. So I realized this at
Oh,
like
fair enough,
at
yeah.
like 3
Yeah,
or 4 years old, where I was picking up the phone and there was people asking like where my dad is.
Right.
He's like, and we're talking about like cops and shit.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like at that age,
yeah,
I
that-
realized I was like, okay, well this guy, whatever he said, I was kind of like,
Yeah,
I
fair
don't do
enough.
what
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
Right? And at that age, that's the first one. The second one was my mother. I would say about 12 years old, I realized. And it was just because it wasn't that she had a bad, she was like impulsively trying to be a bad role model,
Mm-hmm.
but the options that she had weren't the best. So you
I
realize
was gonna
like,
say, be careful what you say. 'Cause she watches this, you know.
listen, man, I'll take a fucking straight right hook from my mom and smile. Okay? No doubt.
Because I know she watches
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I
Your
know
mom
this.
watches these?
Yeah,
Absolutely, dude.
Shut-
My mom gives me critique. She's like, "You cuss too much. You sound like a fucking retard." But it's all good, you know. My mom, I always want,
Armand's mom.
yeah, hi Armand's mom.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
yeah. I always, you know, I think if you guys sat down with my mom on a long conversation basis, you guys would agree on a lot of things. But it's you eventually decide that you have a style.
Okay.
And that style is not something you're going to sway away from unless you see a component of it that's beneficial to you.
You're talking about like a personal side.
A personality.
As you start to realize who you kind of are.
Exactly, exactly. So I've matured into a young, not so much anymore, but generally just a fucking person that I am.
Sure.
Now, I'm not going to sway away from that unless I see benefits. Now, if I do see benefits, one thing that I realized of recent, like last 5 years, is that I will sway completely. If
Interesting.
I see if someone points out, like Dr. Evil, you, Emil, whatever, whoever,
Yeah.
if they say something that's legit and I think about it,
And you were like,
and it makes
sense.
perfect sense, I'll be like, man, I was in the wrong. I have no problem with that. I have no problem. I'm happy to be wrong on things. And that's one thing that I've accumulated over time
Yeah.
that I don't see my parents doing. That's the number one thing that I see. It's
Interesting,
like the most
interesting.
imperfect thing about them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is across the board for most parents because of their age and whatever, but I realize that in order to continue to improve as a human being, you have to be open to change. And if you're not changing, you're not going to improve really.
Right.
And you have to forever change. Dr. Evil, you want to put some meat on the table, put some cherries on top?
Like 2 cents, 5
I
cents.
think you pretty much covered it. Did you have more questions in mind?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Without going into specifics, whatever you're comfortable with, what's the biggest disappointment of your life? If you don't want to go first, I can go first, or Hector can go first.
You go first on that
Yeah,
one.
I need a moment to think.
It's like which fucking one? like,
Yeah.
Let's pick up my
In
roll
its
here.
entirety.
This fucking existence.
I would say the biggest thing would be dealing drugs and inhabiting that kind of shallow-minded success.
Man, you almost have it easy. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I think that's the biggest disappointment in my life, because that not only deterred into other things of like jail, prison, other shit like that, but it also deterred me into like meeting girls that are worth meeting.
Right.
When you're in that kind of group,
Yeah.
you're not meeting like
It's
good-
hard to meet good people. Yeah.
just people in general that
Yeah.
are beneficial to
yeah,
you,
it's like good people.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like that alone, I would say, was the top of the iceberg, if you may,
yeah.
of worst mistakes to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I never did that, I would be more baseline of where I need to be in life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the biggest fucking mistake I did. Biggest disappointment in my eyes.
I think for me, it actually would have been something that you just mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Developing a strong discipline early on is my biggest disappointment.
Mhm.
Like I still struggle with that in
Mhm.
certain ways.
Yeah.
Even
you don't
now.
hit the gym. Yeah.
Even now.
yeah.
Sure. I mean, I used to. I used to be super
Yeah, yeah.
disciplined about that. I used to go like 3-4 times a week. But that's
I remember your
whatever.
I remember your six pack.
Yeah.
Alright.
But just like in other aspects of life, that discipline has been something that's lacked for me.
Mhm.
And I feel that if I were to have strongly pushed that early on for myself, whether if it was asking for help from like whatever, it's like, I don't know, fucking parents, coach,
Right.
who knows how I would have like
It's endless.
actually developed it.
Right.
But if I had actually done that for myself very early on,
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been much, not just ahead in life, but in a better place for myself.
Yeah.
If I did that, right? So I'd probably say that that's my biggest one.
Yeah. Dr. Evil, you wanna jump in here? Come on, man. We've known you for 10 years, if not longer.
And the science one earlier.
Science one, law, maybe?
No, it's more maybe you kind of come to terms with reality in a way as you get older, and you realize that many things are outside of your control, and you actually influence very little, and you're mostly a product of your environment.
Hmm.
And the difference between you and many other people is, to a large extent, random.
Hmm.
And as you come to realize these things, I think there's a component of that that's pretty. I don't know if disappointment's the right word, but
That's the Nassim
just like the
Taleb
reality
mentality.
of life sort of settles in.
What I like about what
It's a
you're
little
saying right now
shocking.
is the acceptance, and I think that's the biggest part of maturing is like
Well,
just
maybe the
accepting.
disappointment is as you get older, you accept these things, and then after a while, I find myself saying things that it occurs to me that if I heard someone say that as a child, if I was a child and I heard someone say that, it would scare me quite a bit.
Like,
Just the level of comfort with certain ideas, like the idea of dying and the idea that you maybe can't change certain people.
right.
Let's see,
People are
what
set
else?
in their ways, man, for sure. I think, but I think coming to peace with death is the biggest thing you can do. I mean, we've all known that teacher that died, and other people as well. Maybe me more than you guys. I don't know, but it's the more you see it, the more you get comfortable with it, and as you age, you realize that it's hard to live life. It's easy to die, man. That's something I would put up there. It's very easy to die. It's suicide is not very hard to do, but living with depression is probably, So if you have any, if anybody's listening and you got some depressive ideologies, please get help. Last but not fucking least, man.
There's a cat here. I'm just like calling it over.
Oh yeah.
Petting the pussy or what?
Yo, okay.
Oh, I'm taking a walk in the neighborhood. I don't want to be
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
talking to you guys in front
Fair.
of people.
Fair.
He's
got another
embar-
question?
He's
I
embarrassed. He's
got
embarrassed of us.
one more, but Dr. Evil, you might fucking not like
I
it.
explained my last answer pretty poorly. It's a tough question.
No, it is. I mean, we're
Articulate
not
it well at all, but
we're
whatever.
not judging you on what you say. We just want you to share because you're a buddy. You know what I mean? It's not you're an
I don't know.
interesting
You
guy.
just picture yourself as a kid sometimes. Like, man, if I saw myself, or not saw. It's too dependent on the visual, what you look like now. I don't
Right.
even mean that. I just mean the mentality,
Mm.
maybe that I have now about certain things. As I think if I saw myself as a kid in that sense, I'd be like, wow, things got pretty fucked up, man.
That's right.
Well, that almost reminds me of the last conversation that we actually all had, where we said what would be the one piece of advice we'd give each other as we were a child.
Yeah.
But then what if you think, I don't know if we asked it or if it was a similar question, but what would that child think of you if they saw you giving this advice? Like,
Well,
what-
it was
what
similar to what Dr. Evil said. Like, what do you think of yourself 5 years from now? or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
Very-
this
it's
isn't an
similar in
advice
that sense.
thing. It's
It
just-
does. It does. It does. I like to revisit these things
Mhm.
because time is very interesting to me. Because time not only changes you, changes everybody, and also your answers and your logic change.
Well, then
which is
I got a
dramatic.
question for you now.
Mhm.
If 12-year-old here, we'll use that.
Yeah.
If 12-year-old self
Yeah.
saw you,
Yeah.
not as you though, so like they would meet you, but they wouldn't be able to recognize that
Right.
that that you're a future version of
Yeah.
them. So they just met you. Everything else is the same. Physical appearance is different.
Yeah.
If they met you, what would they say about you?
Do they know that it's me? That it's the
no,
future them?
no.
I think they would laugh at my jokes, but later on go home and say, "I'm glad I'm not that guy."
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because people don't understand like the trials and tribulations. You know, people only see you for your jokes and shit you got to say now. So they base you on what they see and what they hear. So they base you on that, and then but there's much more of that.
Yeah.
There's much more of you than that. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's lots of things and things you have to deal with that many people might not be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it reflects on how you speak later on in life.
Sure.
Like you guys said, back in the day, I was much more like task oriented,
Yeah.
and I was not into like talking too much and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And now I'm more like introspective, which is interesting. But I think it's I think they would not want to be involved
Right.
with me as far as like a friendship.
Yeah.
I think they would look.
Well, it'd be weird.
At
It
me
wouldn't
from a
really be a
distance.
friendship, right? Because like 12 to 28 is a big gap. So it'd
No,
probably
no,
be more
for
of
sure.
like,
But
like would they consider like
Even
looking-
if it was
would they at all look up to you?
maybe, but it wouldn't be for the right reasons.
Right.
It wouldn't be for the right reasons.
Now here's a second part to that question.
Yes.
Does that mindset of this 12-year-old change at all once they realize that that's actually them, that it's actually you?
Who the
It
fuck
would-
knows? That's too hard to answer.
It's yeah. I would say if I want to think back at me at 12, I don't think anybody can actually learn and process
Mm-hmm.
what it is, because now we look at what the actions turn into daily actions that turn
Yeah, yeah.
into life consequences.
Yeah.
But at that age, I don't think you have that kind of foresight of seeing,
I'd-
hey, this guy does this guy.
Yeah.
You kind of, me at 12, I mean, I think all of us at 12, when we saw a guy with a nice car or something or money, we'd instantly glamorize what they do.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it might not be. You might want to be that guy driving a Corolla, kind of like Khabib, rather
Yeah.
than being like a McGregor. Me personally. But at 12, you're thinking very shallow-minded.
Yeah,
And
and that's well.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like kids sometimes have a very good, very good eye for perception in the sense of like judging someone's
I
character.
don't think at 12. I think much earlier than that.
Yeah,
Because I think
actually,
at
sure.
12, you're at this day and age, at 12 you're already getting influenced by mass media.
So we'd say like 6, 7.
6, 7,
Okay.
honest truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have like, this is gonna sound weird. You don't have a soul until you're like 7,
Sure.
8. You don't really have a soul, and what that means is that's why you can be so honest, because you can't read things yet, right?
Yeah.
You can't read.
Well, that's
presence.
kind of what I was trying to get. Like, I guess I picked the wrong number, but that's actually what
Yeah.
those characteristics was what I was trying to pick out by saying the
8-year-old
12-year-old.
me. I'll tell you
Yeah,
right now
there
what
you go.
8-year-old me would tell me.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a fucking dumbass. That's what 8-year-old
go.
me tell
Yeah,
me.
there you go.
8-year-old me would tell me that. Dr. Evil, what do you think 8-year-old you will tell you? If it was just gonna be honest, blunt child that just tells you based on your imperfections right now. So I'm basically telling
Or
you,
good things too. Man. Could
or
be
good things.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you right now to read yourself and what you think that would reflect on an 8-year-old version of you.
I have no idea. I don't think about this kind of thing ever. I don't remember what it's like to think about being an 8-year-old anymore.
Wow,
Interesting.
that's the difference.
I mean, I don't think it's that important either. Honestly, who cares?
It doesn't matter because it's the past. Nothing in the past is really important, right?
As a kid,
It's
Reflecting on the future might
I can't.
be
I
more
wouldn't
important.
even say that you guys are throwing around these big generalizations. I wouldn't even do that. Depends so much. I mean, people grow up in way different environments. If you're super sheltered, which I think I came from kind of that background, and then you see someone, I don't know, in our position now at our age, and they maybe have the full picture of what your life is like and your mentality and everything.
Embers, shout out.
What's that kid gonna think like? I don't know, man.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably gonna be spooked.
Yeah. Do you think?
Just,
Do you think
I don't know.
40-year-old self will tell you to be more happy and positive?
It's not about that. You can't just tell someone to be happy. That's what a naive thing to say.
No.
You know,
Just be happier with what you got. Really.
doesn't work like that. This is part of what I was getting at earlier with this disappointment thing. Like you, to a large extent, you can't choose how you feel about things, right? That's the you can't choose your source of thoughts. You're kind of observing them as they pop into your brain. And the same thing goes for feelings. Certain things give you pleasure or satisfaction that other people could care less about. It doesn't even occur to them to think about it. So this notion that when you were in your teenage years, criminality appeared to you, and prestige and money were obsessions to other people. You know, all they could care about is excelling in some sport or maybe some hobby. It had nothing to do with these things that preoccupied you. And so when we say like, oh, what was it like being a kid or a teenager? Like, oh, it totally depends on the person.
That
But the
wasn't
fact
really
that you can't even pick these things
that
is what
wasn't the
disappointed
that
me.
wasn't really the point of my question. I was more thinking of like what would your 8-year-old self just say of you currently right now if they were to just meet you? Like would they want to like talk with you? Would they be
fanning out on you?
or would they be
Like
kind
would
of
they
like
be role
Yeah,
modeling
certain
you?
things maybe.
yeah,
other
right?
Things,
Or would
no.
they be weirded out? Would they be interested that you're doing sciences, or would they be like, you know, this guy's kind of cool, or he's like a down, you know what I mean? Like what?
Can
what,
I
what's
speak
this-
on? Can I
The
speak?
one thing I do remember is when I was a kid, my idea of like a successful future was that you'd have a family.
Right.
Like you
Wow.
establish your own family.
Right.
So,
Wow.
and by that I mean a wife and children.
Right.
That seemed to be like pretty much the most important part of your existence later on, and that pretty much totally disappeared at this point.
Mhm.
I mean, it's important later, but it's
Things
yeah, I see
change.
things very
Success
differently now.
changes. Doctor Evil, this is.
I don't even know about success. It's just
I think what success means to us changes at different times. I think in 10 years, if you ask us what success means, it's definitely gonna be different than what it
Probably,
is
yeah.
right now. And I think me personally, just taking a fucking leap of faith here. I think you, Doctor Evil, you probably had the potential of being in like technical sciences as you are now. At that very age, I think you probably possess the skills for it. It's good that you're in it now, but I think if you got in earlier, you would excel even further. Like when you talk about like the top 1% of guys that are in your field, I think you'd be there. I think you'd be there, and I think it's just time.
I don't
put in.
think so. I mean, I appreciate your confidence, but I don't think I'm.
You're a smart guy, man.
The-
Don't doubt yourself.
There's more to it than that.
For sure.
First of all, the people in this field already are like a super tiny population. I'm okay. You know, I'm not. You can't. Here's part of what I'm getting at again. You can't even want to be in that to some extent. Like, the guys who do really well in any particular field are almost predisposed to be there. Once you like get through a finer and finer comb, and you have like very few people left in this sort of small competition. It's not even a competition to them. They just can't help but think about certain things all fucking day.
So you think that these people are just designed basically by luck to do certain things, to excel in certain things, certain fields?
To some extent, I find that that's how the world is.
Genetics, but not genetics. That's
Basically.
absolutely what that is,
I mean,
right? I mean, that's
yeah, you need to be born into.
yeah. I mean,
some-
LeBron is
some
LeBron
opportunity
because
to
he
do that
has.
stuff too, but-
Yeah, I mean that 100% makes sense. I think the key here is to find what you're gonna be, not just you,
Yeah.
but I'm saying anybody in particular, what you think you will excel at and what you're made for, which is hard
It's
to
not that
find.
there's no room. There's some room for. I don't know. It's like trying your best and effort being part of the outcome, but I think most of it is, it's almost like the weightlifter thing. I can use that as an analogy because we've talked about it. Like, it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to compete with whatever the World Bodybuilding Federation, whatever that league's called.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain set of cards already just to even compete. And then if you have those cards, then yeah, maybe it's just a competition of will at that point, and who's the most tenacious.
This goes back to
But-
what we were talking about.
I'm
like-
never gonna be there. I can be the hardest working guy. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, we were talking about this, Dr. Evil. We're talking about guys that have potentials to be like,
So you almost just want to pick what you have potential in,
exactly,
and you don't have a
pioneers,
choice over that.
right? Remember we were
So-
talking about pioneers and how it's just race to get to a certain point, then you become a pioneer in a certain
Kind of. You were really high when you said this.
Okay,
Shit.
but basically, we were making an analogy that to be a pioneer in any field, you'd have to excel past whatever people's sciences have developed so far in that particular field, and then go past that. So some fields is going to be shorter than others, and with what you're saying, you might never even reach that state where you go past all the
Yeah, that's true.
all the history and all the development in that particular field. So I agree with you. You have to have certain things in it already.
I think what might be another idea or another way to kind of go about things in that sense is, it reminds me of a classmate I used to have at BCIT. He was a pretty high level. You know what squash is? I mean, Dr. Evil knows, but
Yeah,
do you know
I
squash?
Yeah, I
know.
remember
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy.
it's like
Yeah.
community center fucking ball. Whatever.
Not exactly, but sure.
Tennis.
Used to be Olympic level game, but
Right,
anyways,
whatever.
it's a racket sport.
Okay.
Whatever,
Cool.
doesn't matter.
Ping
This
pong.
guy's high level badminton, whatever.
Badminton.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Point is, he was a very high level in squash. He was like number 2 ranked at one point,
Yeah.
in the
In
province.
Canada?
No, in the province. He
Okay.
competed in nationals too, but he was like number 2. The thing with this guy, I always liked him because he had a very realistic. Like, he would always sometimes make like jokes and like, you know, make cocky jokes and stuff. But he was actually, when you got to know him and he actually talked to me, he was actually very realistic about what he could do, and he never like looked down on himself for not being able to reach higher, and he never rested too much on his laurels about where he already was. So just because, you know, specifically with the squash thing, we're going to stick here, he knew that he was number 2. So he knew that anytime he had to play the number 1 player, he most likely wasn't going to win, and he was okay with that.
Yeah.
Versus there are other guys in the same position where they would always fight against almost nature in that sense, where they weren't realistic with where they were and their skills and just
Right.
where they were and what they could do, and they just truly believed that they could actually do better than what they were almost like meant to do.
Right.
But this guy had no problems with knowing that, hey, okay, I've done this amount of training. I'm this good because of my genetics, my experience, all these reasons. I can get to this level, and as long as I work hard and all, like there's a factor that's like the
Right.
effort and determination. As long as I keep that at this level, I can stay at this like number 2 ranked level. But if my determination goes down, if my training goes down, then I'm obviously going to go down.
Yeah.
But me doing those things better isn't going to get me past to that like number 1 ranking, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool to have that at that age, that young age, to realize that this is what I have. I'm good with it. I have enough here to play with where there's enough work there to be done with like the training and all the other stuff that there's enough there to keep him occupied. He doesn't have to feel bad because he's not better than that. I think if you could have that kind of mentality for other things in life, it'd probably be pretty good for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you can criticize that and say, well, for someone to excel to the next level, they have to believe, however naive it might be, that they are better than in fact that they actually are. I mean, you see these clips of Jordan on The Last Dance.
Yeah, sure, but that also
He's
goes
just
against
taking
what you
everything-
just said, right?
On a personal level, it's like purely an emotional thing at that point. This guy's driving himself using frustration and envy, and it's not necessarily a good way to live. And I think that's part of the reason the guy catches a lot of flack. So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just to
I
wrap
know.
it up, I think that what I noticed from you guys, top 3 things I would not advise, but I would say watch out.
fuck
if
all
you're-
these lists, man.
I-
Top 5, top
yeah.
3.
You know, we got to do it, man. Would be number 1 would be able to evaluate yourself and your set of skills at a young age. It's very rare that you find that, even among us. I don't think any of us have done that.
Extremely rare for like especially young people to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
a guy at 10 years old, how can you evaluate that, right?
No
You're,
way.
you're thinking about something else.
Maybe there is.
The other thing is to not doubt yourself. Once you've evaluated yourself, not doubt it. And the number 3 thing would be patience. Patience to
I'd say
get
that's the number 1 thing.
to
I'd say
get.
that's the only thing.
No, I don't agree. Because if you value yourself the wrong way and you have patience, it doesn't mean anything. Because you might pick a field that you'll never reach. The
Surprised you
heights.
even said that, to be honest. You know, that's what Perez said a long time ago. Like, you know what the most important thing is in young people? I'm like, what's that be?
What's that be?
Yeah, okay.
Fuck
Okay.
out of here.
P. I think
Yeah.
he said P. P.
Yeah. Okay, he said P, but this
What
motherfucker.
did you hear?
We
B.
said B.
Okay.
No. When do I have a confidence?
Imagine.
Christ.
Dr. Evil, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for joining us. I know you're a busy fucking guy. You know, taking time away from your family and shit. Shout out to you and your family, man. I hope you guys all the best, and hopefully we'll get you on next time.
All right, thanks. Same to you.
Thanks.
Take care, bro.
All right.
night.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, man.
Apparently, I'm a beauty, so you got to show me.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
See, that mustache is looking
The mu-
crisp.
We might do like a marketing campaign just off this fucking stash. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
think so?
Yeah.
Listen, I got a guy that will whiten your teeth for $80.
$80?
$80.
Is it safe?
It's safe. I've done it.
$80 doesn't sound safe.
No, it's just there's two ways of whitening your teeth. One is laser.
Yeah.
One is just
Chemical.
bleach.
Yeah.
Right?
Chemical.
This
Disgusting
is
chemical.
bleach.
Yeah.
Right? So I've done it. The only downside is that with the laser you can get the back teeth.
Yeah.
But if you
Oh, that
brush,
makes sense.
if
Yeah.
you brush properly, you don't never really have to
Yeah.
whiten
True.
your back teeth.
You're just worried about.
But
hygiene
with
of-
bleach, you can't. You cannot. You cannot do the back teeth.
Yeah,
Whatever, because it's gonna go down your throat, and then you are
then your problems.
fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on to something more fucking joyous.
More
okay?
uplifting.
More uplifting. Okay, swingers. Okay, I want to go into this.
Interesting.
I wanna
don't
go
know
into
I don't
this.
know, uplifting, but it's definitely.
It's definitely.
I mean, it's lifting something.
Yeah, it's lifting these nuts. So I want to go into swinging and people that pick that.
You want to get into swinging?
No.
Is that what you
no,
just said?
no,
You wanna
I-
get into
no,
swinging?
No,
Okay.
swinging something else. Hey, Embers, please, okay? I want you
Had enough of you.
to come on down sometime, and I want to put the camera on you, man. I want to put the camera on
No,
your
he can't do that,
curves.
man. He can't. He hasn't done a face reveal yet.
Okay, but I wanted to do one.
Can we
okay?
get the exclusive on that? Maybe.
Exclusive on him. One thing I want to say is I think people that pick like swinging as a couple,
Yeah.
I don't think they actually love each other.
Would you ever swing?
I don't think I have the flexibility to not physically but like mentally.
Oh, because I was like, the
Yeah.
fuck you mean?
I'm very
flexibility?
possessive.
100%. Me too.
I think
100%. Bro, I would fucking never do this.
yeah.
And if my girl brought it up to me, I'd be like, the fuck is wrong with you?
I would.
I'd be like, is this a joke?
I'd go one step further and be like, "You're
Get
out
the
of
fuck
here."
out. You know,
Yeah, you're
well,
outta
first I'll be like, okay, like, haha, yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I want to have like, I'd play along and be like, okay, but are you for real?
here. Yeah.
Because if you're fucking for real, then you get the fuck out of here.
There's-
We're not doing that.
There's two ways that swinging works. One, if you, let's say for example, as a leader in a stereotypical relationship, if you're a man and you're making 100K,
Yeah.
and you're fit, you're 6 feet, whatever, across the board, you're in the high values of life.
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
the
What have you heard this? It's a high value man.
high value man?
You know
exactly,
that? Yeah. Who the fuck's that guy?
That's right. Don't
forget
worry
that.
about his name.
Yeah.
A high value man. When you look at a woman, the number one thing that you don't want is a woman that's not loyal.
100%.
And because you are a high value man, you have a lot of sensibility when it comes to what is your benefit and what is not, and what is in the cards of when you evaluate your partner.
Yes.
At that age, you realize, hey, is this the person?
Mm-hmm.
Now, number one red flag to a smart, educated, high value man is if a woman is not making the same money, is not contributing to the relationship, and then asks you, hey, Martha and John.
Hold
wanna
on a
swing.
second. Why are you still with this woman if those first two things aren't fulfilled?
Just
Actually,
people-
fuck that. Fuck the first one. The second one.
What?
You're a high value man.
Mhm.
If this woman isn't contributing to the relationship, why the fuck you still with
Pussy.
her? But that's contribution.
Is it?
Yes.
You have penis. Is that contribution?
Having one doesn't mean it's a contribution.
It's different.
But
me tell you
doing
why it's
something with
different.
it is a contribution.
It's
Because, like,
it's
hold on a
different.
second. You
It's
as
different. Pussy.
you as a
pussy-
high value man.
Okay, I'll
you
break
have-
this down to you after you say this.
You have certain requirements
Right.
for what this equally high value woman
Mm-hmm.
is bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're going to be with this person. Otherwise, you're not going to spend your time
Mm-hmm.
with this person.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Yep.
there's obviously reasons why you're with this
Right.
woman, because you're a high value man. Why the fuck?
Why are you
why are you
considering
wasting your
that-
time?
Okay, but everybody has a place in the world,
Okay.
and at certain ages, you have different places in yourself in the world.
Sure.
You see yourself in different places in the world.
Okay.
So when you're making 100K at 20 years old, making 100K at 30 and 40, different story, right? You look at different things. So I think you would initially get with this person because as a high value man, you want your experience to set in at an early age. And what I mean by this is like sexual, relationship wise, communication wise. The more numbers you bring in, the smoother you get.
Let me ask you something else.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider to be a high value man? Because I'm not even sure if you were thinking about the same thing. Think here. Is high value man just the salary?
No.
Okay. Because so what else is what else goes into being a high value man?
I don't want to take too long, but generally, a stable mindset of improvement,
Yeah.
a healthy mindset of improvement. So, let's say I have a wife, help contributing to complimenting her in order for her to raise her value in
Sure.
life. If you're thinking long term, now, health, like healthy, you know, this all goes into stability, right?
Sure.
And you know, with that comes the stability of, you know, your relationship with your family and whatnot, friends and whatnot. So it goes fairly deep as far as what a high value
Okay,
man
that's
is.
good. So we're on the same page. Here. So
Um,
then my other question would be, at this point, knowing that this is what makes up of a high value man, why is that man not with a high value woman?
It's not the same value. This is why. This is why. Let me explain to you why. A woman never pays for dick. Okay? But pussy runs the world. A lot of guys value their life and change their life based on girls. That whole conception of, hey, let me hit the gym and I'm going to get girls. That's not, most of those guys that hit the gym aren't really doing the gym as a lifestyle, but doing it in order to acquire a special type of woman.
Yes, but those men are not high value men. We're talking about high value. Let's keep the conversation on high value
High
men.
value men-
High value men are independent in that
Okay,
sense, where they're not.
but-
You're right.
Okay. But
You
you
know,
don't, you don't, you
pussy
don't
runs
just,
the
you
world,
don't,
all
you
that
don't,
stuff.
you don't just wake up and you're a high value man, right?
No, but
so
we're,
this
we're,
comes
we're
with,
talking within that context of the high value
so
man.
are we talking about, is this person already matured into their late 20s and early 30s where they are a high value man already? Or are
Yeah,
we talking about
yes.
the process of
No.
Okay.
Is the man already?
Then you will never pick a woman
Exactly,
that's not
that's
making,
why I was so
you will
confused.
never pick a woman that's not making close to your
Exactly.
salary.
All right. So then okay, we're on the same page. Let's go back to the becoming the high
Yeah.
value man and then getting in with
Okay.
women who aren't.
So if initially, for me, I would test the waters.
Yeah.
Right. I think one of the things I did right in my life is multiple relationships, multiple relationships in different countries, different kind of women.
Yeah.
As far as ethnicity, culture, all that, because you get a sense of it. Whereas if you don't do that, you don't get a sense of that, and you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Once you do get that, though, there is in that distance of you starting to be a high value man and where you know what you need.
Oh, this is just the.
Stop being so dramatic.
No. I thought she like bit me. I was like, the fuck.
This kid. That point, you're gonna run into a girl that's gonna say, "I'm a high value woman. I'm
Yes.
a 1%er."
Yeah.
Okay. What do you, Bianca or whatever the fuck your name is? What do you offer?
What are you bringing to the table?
Oh, I'm a nice, piece of ass, or I have like poppin' pussy, or whatever the fuck they say physically, and they'll be like, look how beautiful I am. You are not a high value woman at
100%.
that point.
Yep.
Because you're not contributing financially, you're not contributing to my success,
Yeah.
and you're not cooking and cleaning.
I don't actually think the financial contribution needs to be that high if the other two are like at a high.
Well,
enough
that's your
place.
opinion, but I think, for example, I'll set a pace here. If I'm making 150K,
Yeah.
I want my woman to make no less than 85K, 80K.
Why?
Certain aspects of life to make 80K legally will change your character and stabilize you as a human being, period.
What if she was brought into money?
You still need to be educated.
You need to be educated.
I'm okay with the money not being as high if you're bringing money, but you still need to be educated. You can't just be empty-minded, full of cash. that's a big mistake. Because
Yeah.
I've been with girls that were like, girl picked me up in a fucking Gallardo,
Yeah, yeah.
and it did not work out. It's not because of the money. It's because she is in the wrong place of mind, and I'm not willing to waste my time.
Yeah.
I much rather be with a woman that had my experiences in the past, as far as literally being broke as shit, changing houses as a child every month because we didn't have money end of the month, than to be with somebody who is so out of my league financially in my family
Yeah.
that I have nothing to reflect on to her as far as life. We had none of the same life. Like, you know what I mean? Our lives don't even interlink
Right.
in any shape or form. So that being said, it's really hard for me to even think about being with a woman that's makes no money and is educated, because I've never met one. I've never met one.
You've never met a woman who is educated that makes less than 85K.
I've never met a woman that makes no money and is
What is no money? Like
Okay,
literally
okay,
no
okay.
money? Like
No,
what?
no, no. This-
Because you
this is
mentioned
what I
the
mean.
85K
Hold on,
thing, so
hold
I was
on.
like,
You're thinking of this the wrong way. I've never met anybody that comes from money and is educated.
really?
Yeah, that does nothing. Like, okay.
Oh,
this,
that
this,
does nothing.
This,
Because I was like,
is what I mean.
Because there's all.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
this
okay.
is what I mean. Like, they're on daddy's money and
Yeah.
they're doing their master's degree. Never met him. Never met him. I've never met him.
That's like 80% of the private school girls.
They are not, though. Because why? Because they are still shallow.
Yeah, no, but they're still
not-
educated.
They're not high value women, though.
That's fine. But you just said never met a woman comes from money.
But
is
I
not
haven't
educated.
even met those private school girls.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because this is the thing. Just because you go to private school doesn't necessarily mean you're rich, right? What are we talking? When we say
sure, but
when
you're,
we say
you
when
are
we say
fine.
hold on. When
No,
we
no,
say
no. I'll rephrase
coming
it for
from
like
money,
this,
what are we
and
talking
you'll
about
probably
here?
agree. Not all people in private school are rich, but all the rich are in private schools. Does that make more sense?
Fair, but
There- there you go.
Then we go into
So if you run those circles, eventually you will meet the ones who are legit
They're not gonna be
made
into
of
you.
money, huh?
they're not going to be into.
No, I mean like you're gonna see them, you're gonna know them.
I think in a realistic.
I'm not saying they're
yeah.
gonna be into me or not. Like, we're not talking
Right.
about me, but I'm saying if you
Yeah.
start hanging out into those circles, you will eventually run
For
into
sure.
the true
Right.
like money players.
Going back to swinging, if you truly love a person and you're a high value man and you're
Out of the fucking question.
you are willing to settle with another human being, the last thing on your mind is to share this human being, because what it took to get this woman, generally men have to reach out to women. Usually women don't reach out to men. Now you will come across that woman that reaches out to you, but has that ever happened to you?
That reaches out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did that turn you off?
No.
Not at all.
Nope.
I'll say
Because
not-
it wasn't like a reach out, like, "Hey, let me suck your dick," or like,
No, no,
it
no,
wasn't
no,
super
no, no, no,
forward
no,
or
no.
anything like that.
It was forward, not sexually, but it was forward as far as wanting you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not like a sex. She could be the most polite person and
I'll
not
tell you
sexualized.
my experience.
Okay.
You can tell me if that aligns anything of what
Sure.
you're thinking in your head. The most I've had is like just a more interested tone in terms of the message, and obviously messaging first. So I'm the messaging first. They message me, but they're super. I can just tell they're super interested. That's what I've gotten.
Absolutely.
Not more than that. Hasn't been like, hey, let's like go out next. Actually, that has happened a couple times.
Hold on. That's it. That's the whole story.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what I'm
waiting
saying.
for fucking more. Bro.
No, it hasn't been. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like they were like, "Hey, I'm really horny. You want to? Can I blow you?"
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, Hector, is this. It turns me off when a girl is really forward.
That's interesting.
Do you know why?
Why?
It's not because of my toxic masculinity.
Kind of sounds like it.
It's has nothing to do with that.
But I'll let you speak.
It's not has nothing to do with that. It has to do with our roles.
That's kind of what that. Sure.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. How I picture myself with the, 1% of a female.
Sure.
In no way, shape, or form is she coming up to me.
Mhm.
And it's not because I'm close to the idea. But if I am in a relationship I'm a leader. I don't want to be led.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem combining our thoughts.
Sure.
Like, I'm not very, like, possessive or captain-like in this podcast. When you give me a suggestion, I listen to it throughout.
Sure.
And I say, okay, well, these are the positives, these are the negatives, is it good or not? That's what I think. I think like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so, I want to lead.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things where she's going to lead, but majority of the relationship, I want to lead.
Right.
And that takes away from the component of that. Because along with that comes to the point where the biggest nightmare for me is this. A girl getting on her knees to ask me to marry her. That's the biggest fucking nightmare in my eyes. Not because I'm old-fashioned or thing, but it's one of the hardest things about being a girl is saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I would be brutal. Like, I would feel terrible about myself if I had a relationship with a girl for 2 years.
Yeah.
And she asked me to marry her, and I had other plans.
Right.
That'd be the worst. Like, I would probably stay at home for another 2 weeks and shit and think about what I did. Right? That's the worst.
Right.
Now, I know what I want, and I can read a relationship pretty well. So if I'm getting on my knees to ask you to marry me, you clearly have been evaluated not only by me, by people that love me closely, and I would even go as far as saying by professionals.
Right.
Because I'm the type of guy, when I buy a car, I get it inspected 2 times. Not just once, 2
Sure.
times. Okay? So I like to play it really, really safe when it comes to stuff like that. I don't know how you feel, if you want to contribute to anything about that. What do you think?
Which part?
Do you think it's a toxic masculinity, or does it make sense of what I'm saying? Because I sincerely don't believe it's toxic. Like I'm not opposed to it.
I'm not even talking about toxic masculinity because that's the whole. We might just
Whole
spend
nother
another
thing, yeah.
fucking podcast on that.
Yeah.
But the old, it is old fashioned. There's nothing wrong with having that. But you're like, it's not old fashioned. It is. It 100% is.
It might be.
It is. But that's fine.
It's just my preference.
I feel similar in
Yeah.
that sense. Like I'm old fashioned in a lot of the things that I feel I want in a relationship, but that's nothing. There's nothing to be ashamed of that, or there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. So, if I'm wanting certain, from what people have described in the past, like roles to take place,
Yeah.
why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? It's like, I don't think you can make people bad for what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's when that want gets to be a forced need is
Like
when
a
it gets negative.
possessive.
Yeah, like if I say, I want a woman who, when we get in a relationship, I'm going to do certain things in the house, and she's going to do certain things in the house. Like that's just what I want.
Mm-hmm.
People can't come back to me and be like, ugh, you can't be wanting those things. Like you have to let people choose. People are free to choose to get into a relationship with me. That's the choice.
Yeah.
Because based on those criteria, that the choice is whether they want to fuck with Hector
Yeah.
or whether they don't want to fuck with Hector.
Yeah.
So there's the choice right there.
Yeah.
You can't be making me feel bad because I want,
X, Y, or Z.
exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we're similar. So I think you should see that and be like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
The one thing I've always had, and I will always continue to have, is not to be, how do I explain this? Not to be desperate
I think
to call it.
whether that comes from a man or from
Yeah.
anyone, that's fucking it's a huge turn off.
Desperation is a huge negative, and I believe that you should never be desperate, especially as a man, because it's very easy as a man to be desperate. It's very easy for a man
100%.
to just follow an evil fucking woman or an evil man or whatever kind of relationship you are,
Yeah.
to be dominated. I don't think it's healthy. I think at least you should have a compromise, and at most you should have clear roles.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, you're going to do that.
Mhm.
We're both okay with it.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue our lives.
Exactly.
You want to give me some last fucking thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'll give you some last fucking thoughts. we had a good call with our boy Dr. Evil there. We should probably do it again in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
There's some more topics that I actually thought of while we were talking
Yep.
to ask him for the next one, which
That's the magic.
I'm gonna write down, and we'll keep that. For all our viewers listening, we obviously we're now on Twitch. We gotta start promoting that a bit more because not a lot of people know about that. Some of our old time fans know about it,
Yeah.
but they've actually messaged me like, hey, are you doing this exclusive? Like, what's the deal? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not exclusive, but we're just adding it on. So
Yeah, we're gonna be out there, man.
yeah, we're gonna be out there.
We're gonna be coming up with all these different fucking things, and I just want you guys to take a chance and understand that we are trying our best here. And honestly, we do put in our time.
Yeah,
And
we're
this
trying different things to see what
different things,
hits and
different
what people want, what they don't want to see as well.
That's right.
So make sure to follow us on all our social media. We got Funny But Foul podcast on Instagram,
That's right.
Funny But Foul everywhere else.
Yup. Twitch, TikToks, Instagram, soon to be Snapchat, YouTube. And just continue to follow us, man. Show us love. If you want us to talk about anything special, you let us know in the comments on any of these.
DM us.
DM us anywhere.
Yeah.
You let us know. We're open to it. And with that, guys and ladies and gentlemen and folks out there, non-binary, binary, what else is there?
Oh, and no, I was just gonna say a little sneak peek, but next week we're gonna continue with part 3.
Part 3 of the
Highly fucking rated, I will say, man.
yeah.
I've gotten a lot, like legit, quite a few messages from this. It's
Shout out to you guys.
Highly rated,
I'm glad you guys like it.
and we're gonna continue on with that next week. So stay tuned for that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that, guys and girls, we are out. Make sure you love yourself. Make sure you appreciate your loved ones. And make sure you let them know that you appreciate them. We're out.